Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Welcome
Hello.
to today's webinar. Hello. Hi, Jadine. Oh, okay. We've just temporarily lost Jadine there for a second. I'm sure she will be back in a moment. I'll get things started, guys, while Jadine comes back in. My name is Liam. I'm 30 years old. And I come from Manchester in the United Kingdom. I'm one of the teachers here in Milan, and I teach at Milano Meravigli. And I've lived in Italy for about 3 years now, and I've lived in Milan for about 2 years. Okay. And I see already we've got Raiza, or Reza. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But hello, welcome. We've got Emanuela, Elmo. Hello, Emanuela. Great to have you here. Guys, yeah, tell us, who you are and where you are from. Okay, we would love to know.
I returned.
Hello, JD. You've returned, like Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. The Return of the King.
Ooh. Exactly. I do like to be referred to as a king. Oh, look, and we've even got a Yoda.
You carry yourself like a king, JD.
Thank you. I think so too.
Oh, bless you. Oh, we've got Yoda. Yeah, that's awesome.
I like that.
Study English, you must. Awesome.
Wonderful. Bravo, Liam.
Thank you, JD. It's a good thing. It's a good thing I went to
to-
university for 4 years.
Yes, the skills were not wasted.
Nope.
Just to introduce myself. So I'm Jadine. I am 25 and I'm from London, also in the UK. So yeah, it's nice to meet all of you. I'm glad that already we have a really interactive group, which is great. Emanuela, Daria, Sabrina, fantastic.
Okay, guys, just so you know, as you can see, there are always a few technical problems in these webinars. But especially at the moment, it's no one's fault, obviously. It's just that there are so many people. The level of traffic is a bit up and down. Okay, so the connection quality. Okay, so just bear with us. Okay, we will do our best. If we have to, if we have to turn our cameras off or something like that, we will, obviously. But just to explain, as I say there, that there may be some connection issues, but we'll do our best, won't we, Jadine?
Exactly. We always do.
Okay, some other people saying hello. We've got Sabrina, who is from Genova. Very nice to meet you, Sabrina. Sarah is from Abruzzo, but she has lived in Bologna for 7 years. Fantastic.
Okay, cool.
Okay. And we've got two meetings of traffic.
Yes, we do.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. And
Olga from Russia.
Olga,
cool.
From Russia, and I live in Milan now. Well, do svidaniya, Olga. Okay. No, dobry den. Sorry. Dobry den is hello. Do svidaniya is goodbye.
Oh, God.
So, dobry den. My cousin's girlfriend is ethnic Russian from Latvia, so I learned a few phrases.
Okay, cool. Good to
right,
know,
guys.
Good to know.
Good. Okay, so as we say, guys, we'll do our best. Maybe we'll turn off our cameras if things get a bit too crazy. But hopefully, as long as you can hear us and you can see the material, that's the most important thing today.
Yeah.
Right. Jadine, what are we doing today?
So today we are looking at giving advice. Yay! And I'm sure that lots of you in this period are spending a lot of time talking to family and friends on the phone, maybe sharing ideas and advice for problems they have, quarantine related or not. But yeah, so in this focus activity, we will be looking at ways to ask for and give advice, as well as looking at phrases for giving advice and reassuring phrases. So, Liam, what does reassure mean?
Reassuring is what everybody wants to hear at the moment. Reassuring in English means that something makes you feel better. And it usually means that if you are agitated, anxious, worried, concerned, preoccupied, someone will say something that will help you to feel better and to feel less agitated, less anxious, less preoccupied.
Exactly. And just I want to just make a point about the word preoccupied, because preoccupied sounds very similar to an Italian word, but it doesn't mean to worry exactly. It just means to have your mind full or busy with lots of different things.
Yeah, it's a good false friend to be careful of, because and exactly like Jadine says, it doesn't mean something super negative. It just means that there's something that you're thinking about a lot and it's maybe distracting you from other activity.
Exactly.
So I would say, Jadine, if we almost, because our cameras are working for the moment, we can think you've got preoccupied, worried.
Yeah.
There's almost
right, preoccupied.
Almost like a hierarchy of concern.
Yeah, I would say that.
Excellent. And guys, just because Jadine and I like to say this every time we do a webinar, Jadine's from the south of England, I'm from the north of England. So yes, we are from the same country, but you will hear some important differences in our pronunciation.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So, Jadine, I mean, you chose this focus, and I think it's a very useful one because advice is something we're all thinking about at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're all both, I think a lot of us are both giving and looking for advice.
Yeah, like I said, I know I definitely am. So I just assume everyone else is as well.
Absolutely. Okay, Georgia has just joined us. Georgia Tripetti.
Hello.
And Georgia, just a little thing. And just a little thing, Georgia, we say sorry for being late, because in English, late is with the verb to be. It's something you are. I am late, you are late.
Exactly.
And hello to Antonella from Naples. All right.
Oh.
Okay, so good advice and bad advice. Okay, so guys, we really want you to be interactive and to be part of this conversation. So please, any experiences you have, answers, questions, everything, put it in the comments section. All right. First question. Let's have a look. Who comes to you for advice? Okay, so who comes to you for advice? Well, I mean, I don't know, Jadine, I guess you and I could say as teachers, sometimes students come to us for advice.
Yeah, definitely. I find about English, almost everyone I meet in Italy comes to me for advice on how to do or say something better, which is fine. Because advice doesn't always have to be something very serious, like a serious problem. It could just be looking for suggestions on how to do something better.
Absolutely. Yes. For example, I have a friend he's Italian, and the other day he sent me he sent me a few messages on Instagram because he wanted some help with something in his job about translation, and he just wanted, he didn't want me to teach him anything. He just wanted to know if the way he had translated something was a good way to explain it. So that would be an example of someone coming to me for advice.
Okay, so Antonella has said, Usually come me for advice, my friend. So, Antonella, you have all the correct words, but the word order is not accurate. So don't forget, in English, we follow the subject, verb, and then object, word order. So Olga has a good example because you said the same thing. So the subject is my friends, and then the verb is come, or yeah, because we're talking about plural people, we say come. If it's just a come, if it's one friend, we say comes. And then to me, because this is the object, and then the reason is for advice. Okay. So cool, Olga as well. Sarah, my friends and my boyfriend come to me for advice. Okay, yeah, excellent. You've corrected yourself.
Well done, Sarah.
Yes, when something happens regularly, we always use the present simple because it's something that happens often or regularly. And then Emanuela, my customers, so plural, because unless it's just one, we say plural. My customers, my family, and my friends come to me for advice. So you've said advices, but advice is not countable. So if we want to count it, we can say a piece of advice, or we can say some advice if you want to try to quantify it. But generally, we just say advice.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah, really good. Raiza, again, I'm really sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, says, in this moment, my children, so my children come, okay, because this is third person. My children come to me. Sorry, not third person, but sorry, you knew what I meant. My children come to me for advice. Okay, yes, but so Raiza, just again, a little thing. We would usually say, I mean, maybe at the moment. If you want to say in, it could be in this period. Just these little dip. Obviously,
Yeah.
Raiza, we understand you. It's clear. Don't worry. Okay, but just this thing of to sound more natural. You would maybe say in this period or at the moment. My children come to me for advice. Okay, yeah, I mean, because obviously we have lots of children are at home with their parents, for example. So maybe they need help, they need advice about studying or about homework, for example. Jadine, do you have any? I mean, for example, do you have any friends or family members who come to you for advice?
Family members, no. My family never come to me for advice. But my friends are quite open. So I think we are always, and there's the joke, struggling millennial. So we always have problems, and we're always asking each other for different advice. So
I can. Oh, here we go. Tourists on the street come for advice if you don't have time to leave faster. So, Olga, if I've understood you, what you mean is that usually you try and run away from people if they come to you for help, but sometimes you're not fast enough. Very good. So remember, guys, though, we say tourists because we're speaking in general. Okay, it's like what Jadine said before about when something's general and frequent, we use present simple. When it's a noun, we need to speak in the plural form. So people, children, tourists, yeah? Tourists on the streets. Okay. Yeah, that's also true. Absolutely. And I think that's another example of when people come for advice is when if friends of mine are coming to Italy, for example, they might ask for advice on places to visit. I've also had friends come to me for advice about becoming an English teacher. In fact, about how I did it and what I think, and advice for what's the best way to practice, etc. Really good. All right. Second question. Who do you usually ask for advice? And do they give good or bad advice? Two very different questions.
Ooh, they
Yes,
are very different.
they are. Well, I think the obvious answer for a lot of people, and certainly for me, would be I ask my parents for advice.
Yeah.
You know, do they always give good advice? Well, it's always with the best of intentions. Of course, most of the time they do. But I have a theory that when many people ask for advice, usually they've already decided what they want to do and they want another person to tell them it's the right thing, in
Yeah.
my experience.
No, of course, definitely. I always ask my mum for advice, and it's not
Yeah.
always the way she gives the advice is not always what I want to hear. But
Yeah.
I think she's always right,
She's
actually.
always right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if I look in hindsight, which means if the situation is finished, but I think about something that happened in the past, she's
Mm.
always right. So,
Yes. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Yeah. Just to explain that, yeah, hindsight is looking in the past at a finished situation. Okay. And usually
mm,
thinking about what you did differently or could have done differently. Um, okay. Yoda, I'm never going to not laugh at that. Yoda says, um, so Yoda, it depends on important thing. Okay, the preposition here depends on the kind of, and I think Yoda maybe is this autocorrect maybe problem maybe. Usually I ask. So again, what Jadine said about subject, verb, object. Okay, I ask my friends for advice. Okay, I ask for advice. Yeah, Yoda's just corrected their little, I think, autocorrect there.
okay.
Yeah. Emanuela says it depends. So again, guys, depend on. Okay, in English, it depends. Feeling, yeah, JD and I have both written that at the same time because we want to really drive that one home. Depends on the kind of advice I need. Usually I ask, so guys, ask my husband, not ask to. Just ask him, ask her,
Yeah.
ask them, ask me. No preposition. I ask my husband or my brother. Sometimes, again, okay, sometimes I ask my colleagues. Okay. And Sarah, again, ask my parents, my friends, my boyfriend. And Sarah says they usually give me good advice. Usually. Jadine, are you saying that your mum's always right because you know that she watches these webinars?
No, she does also watch them, but she actually is always right. And yeah, I don't know. I feel sometimes, although in recent times it's not been working, but I say that my mum is a little bit magic because whenever I have a really, really big problem and I try to fix it or I stress about it, then when I tell her, it magically just resolves itself. I don't understand how this can even be physical. When I was traveling abroad for a while, I had a problem with my foot. I had a physical problem and I was finding it really hard to walk and I almost gave up. And I called my mum one day and I said, I'm going to come home because I can't walk anywhere. And
Aw.
it's been like 2 months and it's horrible. And then the next day, it just magically got better
So,
after months. So
so the logical conclusion, Jadine, is that clearly your mother is a witch.
yeah, no, I
I
think
think,
so.
you
So
know, some
I've been telling
some
her
kind of
about the virus. I've been like, Mama, Mama, come on, do your
Make
magic.
it go. You make it go away.
Exactly.
But
I don't
it's
know
like
why she's taking her time.
it's
But
like, but JD, you're right about the light magic thing, because you know when you were a child and you couldn't find something,
oh yeah,
and then your mother
yeah,
would look, and 3 minutes later it would magically show up.
yeah, yeah. I saw a really
Okay,
funny meme about that.
you'll have to send it to me.
Oh,
Yeah, Riza, but remember now, Riza, this is good. Usually I ask my sister for advice. That's perfect. But remember what Jadine said, that advice is uncountable. So we have to say that sometimes it is. Okay, because advice in English is uncountable. We have to say the advice is good.
exactly. And also, guys, the word sometimes is always plural. Always plural. Even if, yeah, because it's some of the times. So
Unless you're talking about sometime in the future, when you mean some time, but that's
yeah,
different.
yeah.
Okay. Think of a time when someone gave you good advice. What happened? Okay, so again, guys, let us know your own experiences. I'm trying to think of an example. Well, okay, I can say that my parents advising me to become an English teacher because it was their idea. It was, I had a job after university, and it was, I liked it, but I felt like I should be doing something different. I should have been doing something different. And they advised me to become an English teacher because, in their words, it would combine my two favorite things, language and the sound of my own voice. That's literally how my parents rather acidically put it.
Were they wrong?
I mean, you tell me, JD. I mean, has anyone enjoyed these webinars as much as I have?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. So
Possibly,
Yoda says,
possibly Caesar. I would say he's my only possible competitor.
um, so yeah, Yoda says, when someone gave me good advice, I was very happy and I was very grateful. So grateful is
Oh,
a really nice word.
yes,
Um,
it's a
yeah, it's
very
just
nice
being
one.
appreciative or thankful that something has happened.
Yes. So, if someone gives you something or does something for you, and you say thank you, thank you, thank you so much, you're being grateful. Jadine, can you think of an example? Maybe something again that your magic mother told you or advised you?
Yeah, my mom probably, she tells me, or she told me like at university that I didn't have to study certain subjects, and I didn't listen. So she gave me good advice, but I didn't listen, and it's another
Ah,
example
so
of
that's
when
what
she was
happened.
correct.
So that's
Yeah,
what
because
happened.
that's what happened was I didn't listen to the good advice, and yeah, then I later regretted it. So I later wished that I had done something differently. But
Right.
everything works out in the
Absolutely.
end.
So we would say here, and Jadine, apologies for using you in the third person, but just for the example of the word ignore, because that's a
Yeah,
good word. To ignore advice is, like Jadine says, her mother tells her something, and Jadine, it's not that Jadine does the opposite, she just doesn't follow the advice.
yeah,
So if you
yeah.
ignore advice, okay, it means that you dismiss it, you don't use it. Okay, final question. If you could go back in time, what would you tell? Oh my God, this is it's a bit early in the day. It's a bit early in the day for
Coming. This lesson's coming for me. Stop it.
yeah. Like this is, I feel attacked.
Yeah, personally
Uh,
victimized by the good advice, bad advice page.
if you could go back in time, what would you tell yourself?
And again,
Oh
guys, this is like looking with hindsight. So with the
yes,
knowledge you have now, so with knowledge you have today, when you look in the past, what can you what can you do? Sorry, Sarah. Before
Oh,
quarantine, my mum asked me to return to. When we talk about going in a direction, we always say to, Abruzzo, but I don't hear her, so we say I ignored her, and now I am alone in my house.
oh,
No,
Sarah,
Sarah. Oh
I'm sorry.
no.
So yeah,
She
and
gave
also
you
Sarah,
good advice.
yeah, you can also say, sorry, I didn't not hear, but it's similar. Listen, I didn't listen to her, and again, that's like a collocation with advice. You listen to. Oh, I'm sorry, Sarah.
God. So, Georgia, I think I would change some things, like my university faculty, but at the same time, they wouldn't have made me what I am today. I like that, Georgia. That is
Very
exactly how I feel.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Georgia, by faculty in English, maybe we would say subject.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, in English it's the universe, like maths, history, engineering, physics. It's a subject. And also, Sarah, yeah, you're not closed alone. You are. There's a good word in
Trap.
English. You are stuck alone. Okay, stuck means you are unable to change your location. Okay, like for example, everyone now is stuck at home because we can't, almost we can't go out. Years
Exactly.
ago, my customer gave me, okay, guys, we need to remember this again, some good advice for the purchase of my house. Before, I was very happy and grateful. Very good. I think if I could go back in time, I would tell myself, study harder in mathematics and exercise more. But I'm trying to fix the exercise thing now.
Excellent. Excellent. And what about the maths?
The maths thing, just I wasn't interested in maths, and now I regret it because I wish I understood it more. Now that I understand what a crucial role it plays in the world.
Okay.
And Olga's advice, if she could go back, oh my God, I would say to myself, calm down, crazy girl.
I don't even know what that is in relation to, but really fun.
I think it's number 4. You would go back in time and say,
No, no. But I mean, like, as in
oh,
what
you
she
mean
would go.
like, why is she telling herself that? Right, right, yeah. I think a lot of people could probably identify with that, though. I think a lot of people calm
I don't
down.
know. I think people would say the opposite, but then it depends on the situation. Say maybe think less and do more crazy stuff. But who knows? I think people we're always happy but never happy at the same time.
Oh, that's the just universally British attitude.
Yeah. Like we're always happy, but we'll always have wanted something else.
Exactly. It's what one Irish comedian once said, describing Irish people constantly looking like, in one ear someone told you you won the lottery, and in the other ear someone told you you have 3 minutes to live.
Oh God.
And that's your physical expression all the time. Okay, guys, phrases for giving advice. So, again, you guys put these in the comments. You tell us some English phrases to give advice. Okay, and let us know.
Exactly.
Because Jadine and I could judge you, but that would not be very interesting. Okay.
That's true.
So what we
That's fun.
want,
And maybe you'll teach us something new as well.
absolutely. So we want to know from you. You can see the question at the bottom. How do we give advice in English? Okay, because there are lots of different words and phrases that we can use, and we want to know the ones that you know. We know that the comments are going to fly in. There we go, just right on cue. In they come all together.
Excellent.
Okay, so
Amazing. So you could, you
yes,
should.
good.
And then this one is interesting. So Antonella has said, I suggest you, and we wouldn't really say something like this. What we would say is, I suggest that you, and then we will follow it with a verb or something else. And then we have, okay, so you have to, yes, this is a good way to give advice. But Emanuela has said, keep calm, it's all okay. And Emanuela, this is great, but this is not a way to give advice. This, which we'll do later, is a way to reassure, so to make someone feel comforted and okay. But giving advice is how we make suggestions for someone to feel okay. And then we have what about, which is good. So with what about, we usually follow this with a verb in the ing form. For example, what about going to the shop, or what about doing some yoga? And the same, Riza, with how about, so with the verb in the ing form.
You can also, oh, sorry, I was just going to say, you can also use a noun as well. So you can say, it's like, for example, if you're talking about dinner, you can say, what about having pizza? But you could also just say, what about pizza? And that, you know, maybe it's just a little faster, but the meaning is the same. And again, it's the same for what about, you know, what about pizza? What about having pizza? And that's fine.
Exactly. So Emanuela had said, this is also really nice, but don't forget, we need the subject. So I think it's better to, and then we follow this with to do something. So base verb. And again, Sarah, so this is really lovely. Stay strong, it will be okay. But this is not a way of giving advice. So giving suggestions, this is a way to make someone feel happier. The comments are moving so quickly.
They are. Sorry, I just wanted to very quickly, before I forget, because Antonella, this one I suggest you. Now, I think I know, Antonella, why you've written this. And it's because in Italian, you would say, for example, I suggest you this restaurant, for example, because that's like the Italian direct translation. But as Jadine said, in English, you could say, I suggest you go to this restaurant. Even if you don't even have to use that. You can just say, I suggest you try, I suggest you visit, I suggest you go. But I think I know, Antonella, why. You're thinking, I suggest you this film. Okay. But we really need to have a verb in there. There must be a verb. Okay, yes. These are flying in. Emanuela, you've said, can I give you an? Okay, but I'm just gonna, do you know what? I think I'm gonna have to put this at the bottom of the screen. The advice is uncountable.
And also the spelling.
Yes, because Emanuela, that's the verb form. Okay.
Yes, so Emanuela, you've written advise. So to advise, like Liam said, is the verb, and advice with a C, and it's a softer sound as well, is the noun. So some advice. And don't forget, because we don't count advice, we say some, because an advice, an is another way to say one thing, but we do not count advice.
Yeah, exactly. So, as Jadine said, advice noun, advise verb. Okay. So why don't we have?
I just wanted to say, so just one more before we carry on. So again, Riza, if I can find it, had put the question, "What should I do?" And Riza, this is a way to ask for advice. So here we are asking someone to give us advice, but we are not giving any advice ourselves.
But it is a correct phrase to use, Riza, just not for this exercise. And I just had one more. Antonella, if I was you, Okay, very good. And that's actually a conditional sentence. So well done, Antonella. You can say, if I was you, and then we use the modal verb would. Okay, if I was you, I would. Okay, so that's very
But
good.
actually though, I think in this sentence we say if I were you, because this is our only version of subjunctive.
I say both. Wait, no, now I have to think about it. What do I say? If I were you, if I was you. Yeah, maybe I were is better, but it's definitely, English is much more flexible with its grammar rules than other languages. So you will definitely see and hear and read people saying if I was you. And Jadine, oh, wait a sec. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, did you just
Hello.
mute yourself by accident?
No, it just told me that my mic isn't connected. So I don't know what happened.
Okay, no, you're fine. You're back now. Okay, let's have a look. Okay. So here are some, just go back and remove this so we can see them all. Okay, guys, you can see the expressions here. So we've got you should, you could, have you tried, have you thought about, if I were you, and you shouldn't. Okay, so again, just a quick thing on the verb. You should and you could, infinitive. Have you tried, have you thought about, could be a noun or a gerund. If I were you, I'd, infinitive, and you shouldn't, infinitive. So all of them are infinitive except for have you tried and have you thought about. Okay. And just before we go on, okay, I would love to know if anyone could quickly tell us just a little thing about giving advice, the difference between you should and you could. Okay, because it's just a little difference, but sometimes it can be quite important to understand how giving advice with one or the other could have an effect on how people understand us.
Yeah.
So we'll just see. Probably again, the answers will all come flying in. Oh, we've lost Jadine again. All right, not a problem. JD's just disappeared there. Okay. Okay, Fernando says should is hard. So Fernando, I think you mean not hard, but strong. Okay. Okay, and yeah, because Yoda says Yud is stronger than could. Yeah, that what we say is that the basic difference is should is a good idea or a recommendation. Okay, and could is to focus on a possibility. Welcome back, JD.
Hello. Don't know what's happening there. But there you go.
Keeps us on our toes. Yeah.
Oh man.
Good. It's all good. It's all gravy. Yeah. So, guys, most of you got this, and that's great. Yeah. Should is generally we say stronger than could. Could focuses on something being possible, but should is to say it's a good idea. So, for example, if someone visits Milan, they ask you about different options for transport, and you think, well, you could use taxis, you could rent a car, but you should use the metro. It's like saying the first two are definitely possible, but the last one is better, is preferable. That's the one I recommend. Maybe now, as we come into the final few minutes here, we can give each other some advice.
Yeah, it's nice.
What's Olga here saying? If someone had the pleasure to talk with Caesar today, we could give him the advice. I suggest him, don't give up the quarantine time. Okay. Don't give up the quarantine time.
What happened with Caesar?
I don't know. Now I'm very interested.
So Yoda, breakdown.
Yeah, I might have to investigate this one.
Okay, Yoda, so you've said, is it possible to use you must be more friendly? Yes, you can, but it depends who you speak to, because you must is kind of like giving somebody a rule. Okay? So
Yeah.
usually if it's with a friend or a parent, okay, so Riza, it's not that it's strong advice, but it's like an order. So it can be quite rude because you're giving no other option. If your friend says, I'm really sad about this thing, what should I do? And you say you must do this, it's very, very strong. Whereas if you are speaking to your children, of course you can use the word must, but then again, it's not really advice. It's more, I don't know, how would you phrase that, Liam?
Well, it's an obligation. It's an order.
Yeah, yeah.
It's as you said, we've kind of moved away from advice here, and it's an obligation. I think. I think
Yeah,
it becomes, it kind of enters the realm of different grammar, I think we'd say.
yeah. So advice is purely if you want to, or if you're going to give someone suggestions or recommendations.
Yeah.
But must is for obligation. So yeah, it's different.
I mean, I think maybe the reason people are confusing them or mixing them is that we're using modal verbs, but modal verbs have different functions. That's what we need to remember. Oh, Sarah's
Yeah.
given us an answer. I have a bad headache. You should take an asprin. Beautiful. Very good,
Excellent.
Sarah. That's a great example. Thank you. Oh, you got a round of
Really
applause
nice.
from Jadine.
Yeah, it was good. Perfect sentence.
That's a really good sentence. Well done, Sarah. Okay, guys. So yeah, guys, just follow what Sarah has done. Put the number of the problem and then tell us the advice that you would give this person. Okay. So Sarah's given us a great start. You should take, and really good use of the word take as well.
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes people might say, maybe like, you should have, for example, but I think that's really good. Very impressive.
Yeah, with medicine, we always use the verb take. Do we always use the verb take? Take some. I think
if it's something,
usually.
I think if it's something you ingest, yeah. Unless
Yeah.
you were talking about a cream, you would say, apply or rub. But no, you should take. For me.
But I'm thinking like cough syrup.
You should take some cough syrup. Yeah, unless or drink.
Yeah, or have or drink.
But then take is a synonym of drink in that case anyway. So I think that's okay for me.
Fair enough.
Holiday advice: you should go to Hawaii. You should go to, okay, so Yoda, in English, the Maldives, because in English it's plural. Okay, in English they are the Maldives. Let's see. Antonella, in answer to number 1, says you could take a pill. So Antonella, because it's a consonant, a pill. I need to buy a gift for my mother, but I have no idea what to buy. Emanuela says you could buy a... So Emanuela, in English, this is one word, necklace. One word. Okay, just necklace. Okay, and the spelling is more like a shoelace. Okay, because it's the idea of lace, like something around you. Okay, so necklace. Yoda says you could go to a small shop. Nando says you could go visit Rome. Very good. But guys, don't forget to put the number, okay? So we know which one you are answering. Okay, just a little thing.
Yes. Although, sorry, Yoda, you said you could go to a mall shop. So a mall is the American way to say a shopping center, which is fine, but we don't usually say mall and shop. So you can say you should go to a shop in a mall is the location, or you can go to a mall, or you can go to a shop.
Absolutely. Georgia, this is answer number 3. You could give her a vacation. Maybe that's just a typo because I know people are using their phones. You could, wow, I wish I had friends who could give me a vacation.
Yeah.
Number 4, you should take a leash. Very good, Emanuela. Very nice use of the word leash as well. Excellent vocabulary. And for number 5, what's the best way to get to the city centre? Sarah says you should go on foot. Wow, again, guys, some really sophisticated constructions here. Very impressive. Really, really good.
On foot is great. Well done, everybody.
Okay, and Antonella, this one is good, but we would say you should take her to a restaurant. Okay, you should take her to a restaurant. Because if you say the restaurant, sounds like you're talking about one specifically. But if it's just general advice about a present, a gift for someone, you would say take her to a restaurant.
Okay.
And I'm just going to explain very quickly that the difference between these words, present and gift, is just a little thing, but present is British English and gift is American English.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if I ever... Oh, we lost JD again. Well, guys, don't worry, because Yoda, same for number 5, you should take the train. And Emanuela says you could go on foot. Very good. So see here the difference, guys, between Sarah saying you should go and Emanuela saying you could go. So one is about the possibility and the other is related to the better advice. Hello, JD, again.
Don't know what's happening.
I don't know. It's one of those days. You guys have all probably seen, we're all getting those warnings when we log in about how many people are using these platforms. So it does happen, obviously. Okay. You should take the restaurant, you should take the train. I suggest you buy, so again, guys, remember our articles to our consonants and vowels. You should buy a gold ring. And Georgia, thought about. So remember with what about, ing, thought about calling. Thought about calling the vet, okay, or the veterinarian. Excellent. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, that brings us to the end, unfortunately.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being such a, fun and interactive audience. This has been great. And I think, JD, and I speak for both of us when I say we've been very impressed with the quality of the answers here.
Definitely. Really, really good. Yeah.
So
excellent.
we've really good, guys. It makes it a lot easier for us as well when we've got such an interactive audience. So thank you very much.
We always prefer it.
We do,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
And please keep looking online. We know that this situation is probably going to continue for, at least the next week or two, possibly longer. So keep online, keep looking, and you'll see we're having lots of events and things are happening, okay, to make sure you get your daily dose of English. All right, guys, take it easy. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.